Hello and welcome back to my channel. I'm Jenny. Today's video is going to be a full face of first impressions, kind of talking about some new makeup that I have recently bought. It won't technically be a full face because I do only have a handful of items, but like I don't really know what else to call it, just trying out new products I guess. I did just get a Colourpop order in the mail today, and I will discuss the products I am going to use. Most of them are new. If it's not new, I'm not going to touch on it because why would I do that? But I do have a handful here and there from different brands. I'll discuss Colourpop first. So the first product I got, and I haven't opened any of the Colourpop things yet and like swatched or anything, but it is the Pretty Fresh Hyaluronic Acid Tinted Moisturizer. I have mine in the shade Fair 4in. I was just guessing as far as the shade because the only product that I have that was on their color match list was the NYX Bear With Me tinted moisturizer thing. And the shade that I have was not listed. So I did kind of improvise and just, I'm hoping that this will match. I think it should. We'll find out. And then I did go ahead and buy two new Pretty Fresh Hyaluronic Acid Creamy Concealers in the shade Light 45. I did think I was only buying one, but I bought two, so that's good. This is my current favorite concealer. I do have one that I am still using though, so I will use that today, but just know that I do love this concealer enough to buy two. I also have the Luxe Gloss in the shade Come Through. I saw on Dupe That's Instagram that this is a dupe for the Fenty Beauty Fenty Glow, I think is the shade that this is supposed to dupe, so I am excited to play around with this. I have not tried this formula. The last thing I bought from Colourpop is the Full Beat Blending Sponge Kit. So I did really want to try all of these. I have the original Colourpop blender, which is very dirty right now. I do have this and I do like it though. So I am very excited to play around with these. There are two that I want to play with today, I think. And then because my order was late, even though I didn't really think it was late, but apparently they did, they sent me the Colourpop, this is of course all Colourpop, but it is the Jelly Much Shadow in the shade Origami. It is a very gold. Maybe I will incorporate this into the look today. I will also be playing with the Living in Color eyeshadow palette from Hank & Henry that I got in March's BoxyCharm. I figured I would talk about these three things that I have bought from CVS, and two of them are from Wet n Wild. It is the Mega Last Stained Glass Lip Gloss. I think I am going to use this one today instead of the Colourpop gloss. Just because I really want to show you guys this product. I think it's awesome so far. I also have the Wet n Wild Sleeping Lip Mask, and it is in the lavender variation. This is the only variation I found. I didn't know that there were other flavors or scents or whatever. And then I also have a lipstick from NYX. It is the, it doesn't say what it is. It's like a satin lipstick, and it is in the shade Chic. So I'm going to go ahead and zoom you in so we can go ahead and play around with some products. So I did go ahead and prime my face already. I did use two current favorite primers. First one all over the face is the Good Molecule Silicone Free Priming Moisturizer. And then just like right around the nose and like right here and a little bit under the eyes, I used the e.l.f. Poreless Putty Primer. I really enjoyed this one. So before I move on with the rest of my face, I did want to kind of discuss these sponges. So this first one, these are the two that I am going to be using today. And this one is the Velvet one. I don't know if you can tell the texture of this, but it's really soft, and I'm assuming this is supposed to be their version of the Juno & Co. Velvet Sponge that has came out in the past. This sponge with a unique flocked velvet texture that creates a flawless airbrush look, so I am excited to play around with that one. This one is the detail one, and this is going to be the one that I use for my concealer. So what I'm going to do is take the velvet one, I'm going to do one side of my face with the velvet sponge, then I'm going to do the other side of my face with a brush like I normally would. The next sponge I'm going to use is the detailer sponge. This sponge has a precision tip that effortlessly blends makeup under the eyes and fits in every contour of your face. Next one is the Hourglass, and even down to the color, this looks very similar to the Flower Beauty sponge. This one says the hourglass shape fits comfortably in your hand and effortlessly blends product all over. This one is the complexion sponge, and it says effortlessly blends makeup into a flawless application. And then the silicone one, it says it has a unique silicone core that minimizes product absorption and perfect to use with full coverage foundation. So to me, this little spot that they say is like the silicone spot doesn't feel any different to me. And then all three of these have the exact same texture as like each other. They're just different shapes. So technically, if you buy one, you don't need all of these. It mostly just depends on the kind of shape that you like. Like this one, of course, has a more tapered point that's going to be easy to get into contouring areas. And then it has like a more rounded butt, where this one has that flat side and then a flat bottom as well. And then of course this one is just more rounded all around. And so this one's going to be more for like all over blending, less like for under eye blending. And then I don't know about this one. It feels exactly the same as all of the rest of these, and it is the same exact shape as their original sponge. It is just bigger. So the true one that stands out the most is the velvet one, just because the texture is so different from all of the others. I'm gonna put these all back in their box. But so based off of first impression, you definitely don't need all of these, and I pretty much knew that going in, but I wanted to touch them all and feel them all. So yes, definitely know that going in, that you do not need them all. Pick a shape or a texture that you are interested in and go from there, because you can buy all of these individually. So I have wet both of these, and now both of these have grown in size. This velvet one's wonderful just to touch and to like pet. It's very, very soft. It would be very interesting to watch a video. I'm not going to buy the Juno & Co sponge, but it would be interesting to see how they compare. So I am going to put this on the back of my hand and just see what the shade looks like. I am a bit worried that it's not going to match. Okay, that's not bad. So first I'm going to just put this on this side of the face, and I'm going to use the soft velvet sponge on this half. And this is a tinted moisturizer, so the coverage is going to be pretty light, I am assuming. And on a day-to-day basis, I do like a lighter coverage. So I'm just going to take the flat side and just bounce that into the skin. It doesn't have a scent, so that's nice. And it doesn't seem to be oxidizing in tone. So maybe you can tell the texture now. It looks like a dirty teddy bear, if we're being honest. And just to let you know, if you are new here and you haven't watched many of my other videos, I do not apply my foundations or anything like that with a sponge, but I did want to try this one really, really bad. Okay, so upon first application, I think the shade is really good right now for this time of year. It will probably be too light by the end of summer, assuming we're allowed to ever go back out into the public outside with all of this COVID-19 stuff happening. Please stay safe and please stay away from people if you are sick. Let's try to make the best of this situation and make it go away as quickly as possible. So here is this half with it on using a sponge, and this half with nothing on my face. I actually think the coverage is pretty good. It is a little light looking into the mirror, but we can bronze and everything, it'll be fine. The texture seems fine. It looks really nice throughout here. I did have some blemishes here that it covered for the most part. I can go over with concealer, no problem. It is emphasizing pores right here, but we'll see what happens when I put powder and stuff on top, because I am not the type of person who's just going to leave this by itself. I do have to have powder. I do not like a dewy texture on my face all day. And so now I am going to be going in with this Japanesque brush. It is the 708 brush. It's just a really dense foundation brush. The brush I use the most is the Sigma flat top kabuki brush one, or the F80, and it is absolutely filthy right now. That's gonna like make this look bad, I can tell. So I am just gonna go lightly in with this. So this brush is really pushing the product around, and I'm not putting a lot of pressure on it because I know that this brush is a very, very dense brush, and I'm not liking how this is looking at all. Like, all that redness is still there. It's caking up in my nose. So I'm gonna stop. So I am going back in with this, the velvet sponge, and I probably should go in with just a little more around those red spots. And I do have more redness generally on this side of the face anyway. Okay, so I do like the coverage. If you're looking for something that is more on the lighter side, just a little bit of like skin evening overall, I think that this does a good job. Of course, if you are someone who loves full coverage, then this is definitely not for you. And I definitely do not recommend using a brush like this. I feel like a brush like this is probably more for like a heavier, fuller coverage foundation that'll help spread it out. I do think that my regular F80 Sigma brush would be okay, but since it is absolutely disgusting, we're not using it anytime soon because I'm too lazy to wash my brushes. I really like the sponge too. It's very, very soft, and I think it's doing a good job of blending out this product. I'd definitely be interested in trying it with a fuller coverage foundation. And now I'm going to use that detail brush, or brush sponge, and I'm going to blend that out. overall I do really like the way it looks. This is kind of how I like my face to look. And I personally, once again, if you have not been here for a while or you haven't been here at all, I don't mind a little bit of acne kind of showing through. I don't mind my skin popping through. I personally don't like a super heavy look all that often or ever really. There's only a handful of occasions I've ever really wanted full coverage, one of them being my wedding, and then random and assorted looks. Like if I have a super bold eye look, I want a super like flawless face, full coverage. But day to day, I like really light, just natural coverage. And I like this sponge a lot. I think it did a really good job blending everything out. So I am happy with how this looks. So I'm going to put powder on my face. I'm going to put blush, bronzer, contour, brows, all of that on because I don't have any of that new. So I am going to go do all of that and then we'll be right back. So I do have my brows as well as bronzer, blush, and highlight. And as a whole, I think that my face looks really nice. I think the coverage is good. I think it's laying on the face really well. The only issue I'm having, and I have this issue with lots and lots and lots of like complexion products, right here on my chin starts to break up and look a little funky. And it is doing that now, but I'd like to wear it all day long and see how it wears. So first impressions, I think it looks really, really great. And I will wear this to work tomorrow and kind of get a feel for it. And then I will probably do a video on all of these things later, doing like a recap. So I am just going to go on in with this eyeshadow palette from BoxyCharm. Once again, it is the Living in Color by Hank and Henry. And I'm going to go into this shade down here in the corner, which is Rustique. It's like orangier shade. And I am just going to start with that in the crease. I did go ahead and prime my lids with concealer and then set that with setting powder. That is how I have been priming my eyes lately. I don't really even use eyeshadow primer anymore. I just feel like it is a second unnecessary step. Taking that same brush, I'm going to go into a mixture of these two shades, and they are Dragon Blood and Rosalinda, I think. And I'm just going to take these on the outer corner. Ooh, that's a lot of pigment. So I don't know how this look is going to turn out because I do want to use that yellow Jelly Bunch eyeshadow. So I am going to take this purpley shade, and it is Sultry Sin, I think. And I'm going to pat that on the outer part of the eye. It's kind of like a bluish iridescence to it. That's really pretty. Can't really tell that though unless you're really looking for it. And so then on top of that, I am going to put this color here, which is Fuchsia. I like that. I like oranges and purpley tones together. I think that looks really pretty. And I'm probably going to ruin it with this bright yellow. So I am going to go in with this origami shade. This is what it looks like. Very, very bright. Just going to take a little bit on my finger. Put that on the inner half of the lid. It almost has like a chartreusey kind of green to it. And these Jelly Much shadows last all day too. They're really nice. So that is what that looks like. I think it looks pretty good. But I am going to go in with just a little bit of like these two shimmers here. And I'm just going to kind of lightly dust that over the edge to kind of blend all of those together and make it a little more seamless. So I'm just going to take a pencil brush, and for the lower lash line, I'm just going to take a mixture of these two here and run that right on the outer corner. Like focusing it on the outer half of the eye. So now that I have finished the eyeshadow, I am going to go ahead and put on mascara and stuff off camera, and then we will decide what lip to use. So now all that's left is lips, and I am going to talk about all of the products that I have. The first one is the Sleeping Lip Mask by Wet n Wild. It is in the lavender variation. This is what it looks like, and I've just been scraping it out with my finger. It does smell like lavender oil. If you don't like that, you will not like this, but I do. My favorite lip mask is the Bite Beauty Agave lip mask in their lavender like variation. But My understanding is that they have completely reformulated that and it is not the same, and they also don't have the lavender variation anymore, so that makes me really sad, but I have really been enjoying this. It reminds me a lot of the Laneige, like the watermelon-y scented one. I think it's Laneige. The texture of that, it's really thin and slippery, but it lasts very, very long. So far I have really been enjoying this. Next is the NYX, I think it's just like the satin lipstick. It's new, it has like the heart on the cap, and it is, I got mine at CVS. This is in the shade Chic. It is just like a rosy pink. I do like it, I think it is pretty, and I think it wears nicely, but to me it's not really anything special or new. It is just a typical lipstick, but I think the formulation is nice. So I really want to show you this one. I don't think it's going to match this eye look, but I don't care. I really want to show you this one. So I am going to go ahead and open and swatch this one. Oh, very interesting. Doe Foot applicator. That's pretty. It's like a nudie kind of orangey tone. It does have some fine glitter in it. Smells kind of creamsicle-y, maybe a little bit, like very light. It's not offensive, but that's what the shade is. Very pretty. Okay, so this one is very exciting to me, and it is the Wet n Wild Mega Last Stained Glass Lip Gloss. I have mine in the shade Handle with Care, and if you follow me on Instagram and watch my stories, you will have already watched my story to see why I think this is a really interesting and cool product. So I am going to pull my mirror up a little bit. Sorry if it is in your face, but I do need it to see where my mouth is. So this is probably the crappiest application I've ever done, but as you can see, it is very glossy. So when I saw this in CVS, I assumed that it says stained glass, so I kind of thought it would be a stain, but I also thought it was going to be like a liquid lipstick. But I went online to read about it, and listen to this. The first transfer-proof, kiss-proof lip gloss on the market that delivers an 8-hour of wear time. Kiss-proof, long-lasting gloss. I thought there's no way that that's real. It's like there's no such thing as a non-transfer gloss, but watch. There's a tiny bit of transfer. Wow, what? That's amazing. It does stain. Imagine that. It does. It stains for a very long time. I even like kind of scrubbed my lips a little bit with my washcloth in the shower and it stayed. So be aware of that. So when you're applying it, don't like get it all outside the lines because it will stain and it'll be there for a while. But I think the shade is really nice. My only real gripe is that this shade that I have on right now is one of the most neutral shades they have in this lineup. There are lots of reds and oranges and bright pinks. There aren't any nudes, and if there were nudes in this formulation, I would buy all of them. This is the coolest thing ever. It's not drying, it's very comfortable. It stays glossy like this. It's super intense at first, the gloss is, and it does obviously wear off to this like satiny kind of looking lipstick that then of course turns into a stain. And I think that this is a really cool, innovative formula that I hope stays around, and I hope other brands come out with this because I think this is super awesome that I can have this glossy lip that then doesn't transfer. I think that's fantastic, and I think that the fact that it stains afterwards is really nice too, so then you don't have to keep reapplying. So that does complete this look. I know it kind of doesn't really match, but I don't think it like looks bad and clashes or anything either. So I'm gonna do a little bit of a recap. So this eyeshadow palette is fine so far. I do think that it applied pretty nice. My only gripe is like this color scheme. There aren't a lot of variations. Like all of these tones are very kind of the same if you take these blues out. I don't know. But the shadows did perform very well, the ones that I used. The Jelly Much shadow is a bit much for an everyday look, but I think the color is very intense, and I know this formulation stays well, so I think if this is a color that you're looking for, this was definitely going to be a good formulation for you. First impression of the tinted moisturizer, I think it looks really great on my face right now. I think it looks really great so far. Other than right here, I'll just have to watch and see how that wears there. So I think the color match is good, and so far it looks nice. I already knew that I really enjoyed the concealer, so I'm not even going to talk about that. And this gloss I'm really looking forward to playing around with. And then all of the sponges I'm really excited to play around with too. The two that I used today are really, really nice. I will use those in the future, and I'm really looking forward to playing with these. I think they did a really good job of blending things out. I am interested to play around with these with other products, and I think those two are going to end up being the standouts of all of these, because these two especially are more standard shapes. Especially this one is definitely a standard shape, but the whole silicone aspect of it, I'm not sure how I'm going to feel about that. So overall, I feel like these products are very good as of now. First impression on most of them, I feel like they are going to end up being very good products. So I'm really excited to play around with them. I don't know if I will do like a favorites type video and like throw these in there, or if I should just do like a recap of this face. We'll see how that pans out in the future. So thank you for watching this video. I hope that you enjoyed it, and I hope that you found it helpful. If you did, please give me a thumbs up. And if you would like to subscribe, please feel free, and I'll see you next time. Bye guys.